Hello, my name is Fenicia Santoso from Petra Christian University Surabaya Tax Accounting Department.
Hello, my name is Keisha Natasha. I'm from Petra Christian University Tax Accounting Department.
Today, we are going to discuss about our article titled Motivation Posters and Tax Incentive Towards Tax Compliance of SME in Surabaya during the pandemic. So, let's get started. In early 2020, COVID-19 was initially found in China, and not long after that, World Health Organization stated COVID-19 as a global health emergency. Following COVID-19, daily increasing cases and deaths have led to worldwide lockdown, and it causes a global recession. It also affected the Indonesian's economic growth up to the second quarter experienced a decline of 5.32%. However, the Indonesian government did not stay still. They enacted regulations regarding the tax incentive for taxpayers who are affected by coronavirus pandemic. So this research, we are going to know what motivation poster affects Tax Compliance 2019 and Tax Compliance 2020 by adding the tax incentive as a moderating variable.
So for the previous study about the journal that we look up to, such as Lin Meitan and Valerie Braithwaite, Langgeng Praetno Utomo, and Ellen Puspitasari et al., their study is just limited in 1 year time of period and there is no incentive applies. Meanwhile, our studies or our research is for 2 years period and there is a tax incentive given by the government due to the pandemic COVID-19.
As we all know, taxes are the largest source of income that can be used in a country. So it is important to know tax compliance level. In the study of Braithwaite, they use motivation poster to gauge the level of tax compliance. So based on the research model, we have 10 hypotheses. The first and the second ones are related to commitment. Commitment shows that taxpayers voluntarily paid for their taxes. So, with or without the tax incentive itself, they are willing to pay their taxes. Hypothesis 3 and 4 are related to capitulations. That shows taxpayers accepted regulations even it is not based what he wants, but still feels that it is the right thing to do. A taxpayer with a high capitulation shows that they won't bother even there is or there isn't any tax incentive because whatever placed by the tax regulator is rightly so.
Taxpayer thinks that fiscus is more interested to finding their mistake. So in this case, fiscus plays a big role to determining the taxpayer behavior. During the corona pandemic, to increase the state tax of revenue, government give a lot of incentive, but without the incentive of final tax income, the taxpayer will think that the fiscus is no longer care about them, and the taxpayer will doubt the fiscus performance. Hypothesis 7 and Hypothesis 8 are basically about the posture motivation of game playing. Taxpayers tend to look for ways to avoid the tax by working the regulation. They will tend to look for ways to pay as little tax as they can for the yearly income tax. The higher the game playing is done by the taxpayer, the uncooperative they will be. With the poor of economic situation, the fiscus tend to act too harshly. And then this is causing the taxpayer choose to be uncooperative. So basically in 2020, tax incentives are used as a moderating variable. For the research model, there are independent variables such as commitment, capitulation, resistance, game playing, and disengagement. And this is connected to the dependent variable, which is compliance 2019. For the perception of compliance 2020, the independent variable is connected through the moderating variable, which is tax incentive. This research used a partial least square with a SmartPL as software to examine the posture motivation effect to the tax compliance. construct validity test has two score criteria, which are loading factor and the average inflation factor. The loading factor for every construct is above 0.6, and for the average value for each construct is above 0.5. So we can conclude that this research of all constructs are all categorized valid. Outer loadings analysis for testing the reliability using Cromba Alpha and composite reliability. For Cromba Alpha, every construct is already above 0.6, so we can conclude that every construct in the study has passed the reliability test. And for the composite reliability, it's already above 0.6 for all constructs, so we can say that all the construct is fulfill the criteria of discriminant validity. And R-square value test is to know that the dependent variable can be explained by the independent variable. Based on this analysis output, the R-square value for the variable of tax compliant in 2019 is 19%, and for the variable of perception of tax compliant in 2020 is 31%. The summary of descriptive data, as you can see in the table, it shows the mean for each motivational posture such as commitment, capitulation, resistance, game playing, and disengagement. So from the table, we can conclude that the respondents tend to have the acceptance posture such as commitment and capitulation, rather than rejecting postures such as resistance, disengagement, and game playing.
Graphic profile table, it shows that most of the respondent aged are between 18 and 25, with 47% and 76% of them are having an individual company, and most of the companies have been established and operated before 2018.
So the result for motivation poster and tax compliant 2019, we can say that commitment, capitulation, and resistance do not affect the tax compliant in 2019, but the game playing and disengagement significantly affect the tax compliant in 2019. As we can see in the table, the p-value is supposed to less than 0.05, and then the t-statistics should be more than the t-table, which is 1.666, which is we can conclude that hypothesis 1, hypothesis 3, and hypothesis 5 are rejected, and then hypothesis 7 and hypothesis 9 are accepted. Game playing affect tax compliance in 2019 because taxpayer feel that the government is more concerned about the state tax of revenue. Tax become the absolute right of the government elite, and since the tax avoidance are more likely to be known by other people or by people since it's being broadly discussed in the mass media. While the country economy is unstable, taxpayer might change his posture motivation to disengagement when it comes to pay tax.
It is shown that tax incentive moderate the relationship between commitment and perceptions of tax compliance 2020, and this relationship called pure moderation. SME taxpayers are more concerned to pay their taxes because they feel that the government are concerned about their economic conditions during the pandemic COVID-19. As a conclusion, tax incentives become a compatible policy instrument as it helps to reduce the taxpayers' expense, and also it helps to change motivation postures from rejecting to accepting. For further study, we advise to research another group of population such as taxpayers with gross income for more than 4.8 billion and employer who also act as a withholding agent. That's all from us. Thank you.